Welcome to page 29. Our I can statement for the day is I can solve and graph an inequality. Let's begin. Take a moment and drop a dotted line down each inequality symbol and break your inequality into a left side and a right side, just like you do when you're solving equations. Now that you've dropped a dotted line down each inequality, let's take a look at the inequality symbols we've been given. If you look at number 1, it reads 2n plus 8 is greater than 24. We know that when we graph the greater than symbol, it will be an open circle. If you look at number 2, 12 less than 4 times k minus 16. That will be an open circle. Number 3 will be a solid circle. It's the less than or equal sign. And number 4 will be a solid circle as well. We're going to take a look at number 2. 2 is interesting because the k, or the variable, is on the right side of the equation. And in order to read an inequality, we need the k to be on the left side. Let's solve, and we'll look at that k value more closely. Let's begin by solving this inequality just like we do an equation. Start by adding 16 to both sides. We get 28 less than 4k. Now we divide both sides by 4. Our final answer, we get 7 less than k. But in order to read this properly, we have to do the turnaround. The k has to be on the right side. So, carefully turn the inequality around, keeping the symbol open to the k, and write k greater than 7. Our critical value is 7. And with a nice open circle on 7, 8 above and 6 below, we're going to shade all the values greater than 7. K can be any one of those values living on that number line as long as it's above the value of 7. We place an open circle on the critical value because k cannot equal 7. Now, if you look at the rest of our inequalities that we've been given, all the variables live on the right side of the inequality. So we won't have to do the turnaround. This was the only case where we had to turn it around in order to read it properly. Your job is to solve the rest of these inequalities and graph the solutions. Stop the video right now. Solve these inequalities just like you would solve an equation, and graph the solutions. Pause the video right now and solve these 3 remaining inequalities. Let's check your work. For number 1, you should have gotten n greater than 8. Give yourself a C. You should have shaded all the values greater than 8 with a nice open circle on 8. We're not including 8 in the solution set. For number 3, you should have gotten all the x's greater than or equal to 10. You should have placed a nice solid circle on the critical value of 10 and shaded all the x's below. X can be 10 or any number less than 10. Lastly, number 4, you should have gotten all the x's greater than or equal to 4. With a nice solid circle on the critical value 4, you should have shaded 4 and all the values above 4. X can be any one of those values. This concludes page 29 in packet number 3.